Creative apps from Pixite are an integral part of my workflow, from documenting in Zinnia, logo design and assembly, to colouring in Pigment. Try a creative mobile app today that's contextual to your unique creative process.
Hi everybody, Brienne here from Pixite, and today I'm going to be coloring a piece from our brand new released book called Masquerade. And as you can see, it's a mask. So I'm going to be coloring this in kind of a fun, quirky way. I have an idea of what I want to do, but I don't know where my coloring is going to take me. I never do, but I have a general idea. I'm going to be, I think, using these blacks and grays here, and it is in the Golden Midnight palette that I am using these. So without further ado, let's have some fun and get started. So this is different for me. I don't usually color this type of illustration, which is why I'm super intrigued by it. So I'm going to start off with kind of trying to get a color built into my background. I put it on freehand. I do this a lot. Anyone who's watched my videos knows that I like to do my background first a lot of the time, not all of the time, but quite often. So I'm just playing with the fade effect in the fill tools, just to kind of get a color happening back there. I want something very dark, very mysterious, and I might very well change this in the end, but we will see how the picture develops. I was almost thinking of just doing the background just all black or like a dark gray, because I want this to be very magical. I don't really want a lot of color in the background because I might be adding lots of effects back there. So maybe I'll just leave it like that for now, and then we can start coloring and we'll figure out what we want to do after. So let's deepen up that color I just used there. Almost like a black. Forgive me 1 second. I'm just noticing the sun's coming and glaring my way. And that is one thing I am not too fond of while coloring, is having a glare. But I can't help myself because I really do enjoy the glass screen protectors as opposed to the paper-like. So it's always kind of a jumble trying to figure out where my light's going to be coming from so it doesn't affect me. So I'm going to be doing like a gold, I think, gold and black type mask. I want it to be magical. I want it to be a real true glitter masquerade type mask. If you ever seen anybody at a masquerade at a ball or something, it's all glitz and glam. So that's what I'm thinking here. But let's see how my idea unfolds. So I'm using the pillow fill tool right now, and I'm just laying down some color. I will be adding lots of details to this mask after, but I just want to get my colors in place so I can start to visualize what I want to do with this piece. If you get these little spots that you're filling, don't be shy to zoom in, just watch that you don't drag your finger across your picture the wrong way or not notice it, because it Can be tricky to fix later, although there are definite ways to do that. So right now I'm using like the gold and the yellow color from this palette. I have a feeling that a lot of it's going to be gold and yellow, so what I might do is, if I start using a lot of it, I might just go to the gold or the yellow palettes. So I can get a nice variation. It's always exciting coloring new things and trying different techniques. And this is new to me. I've never colored a piece like this before. So it's me just experimenting and having fun. So I think what I'm going to do now, just so I can get a little bit more variation of the yellows and oranges in this piece, is I think I'm going to go down here to the oranges and yellows, and I might go back and forth. But for right now, let's just go to our yellows. And I'm going to switch up my fill here, and I'm going to use the metallic fill. I want a nice variety of yellow, and I want that metal looking kind of feature to it. That sheen that you get towards the middle. Now, metallic is just like pillow. Wherever you tap, it's going to add shading on the opposite end. So if you tap in the middle, you'll get a little bit of shading on other sides. If I tap here, my shading will be towards the base. So just keep that in mind when you are using the metal tool. I just need to color match this for a second. Fill that in. And don't be afraid to experiment. I wanted to keep this very kind of 1-2 colors, but different shades. So it's mainly going to be orangish, orange, if that's a word, yellow, and then maybe some blacks and some grays in there as well. It's actually very relaxing just filling sometimes. You just tap and you get to see that burst of color right away. It's very satisfying. So you can see how this is going so far. I really like it. I think it looks good. So exciting that my plan is coming into fruition and looking halfway decent for a start anyway. So the beginning of this tutorial, as you can see, is just a lot of getting my colors down, which isn't unlike any other tutorials you might have seen from me. It is usually the first start to anything I color, is getting my base colors down, and then I start my shading and I start my highlighting, and it just kind of goes on from there. So now that I have a little bit of this yellow color, yellow and goldish orangey color happening, I do want to use some grays as well. So let's go to black and white palette. Let's just get a little bit of gray in the face. We don't want a lot in the face part. At least not right now, unless I change my mind, which has been known to happen once or twice. I will be touching base most likely on the glitter tool, the laser tool, and plasma, I'm thinking, but we'll see. We'll see how this develops. I might even play with the line color in this one, but if I do play with the line color, it's not going to be until my piece is finished, if I decide to. Then I might play with it and see if I like the line color. Maybe I'll put, oh, I think I like the gray very minimally on the cheeks, and I think I'll leave it that way for the inner part of the face. Really do like the gold being the focus. Okay. So we've done the inner part of the mask, at least gotten the color down. Let's finish off and get our whole mask filled in, and then we can start with all the fun kind of details. So let's get started. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm still using the metal fill, just because it adds a little bit of texture, even though it's not overwhelmingly in your face. There is still some detail, especially when you zoom in, you can really notice it. So we're gonna stick with that. Just filling along. I'm trying to keep it very symmetrical, using the same colors in the same areas. I want this to be, like I said, a very decorative, fun mask. Just getting the background or the behind kind of design taken care of here. I think the gray is looking good more in the backdrop than in the actual features of the mask. And I'm liking the dark gray a little bit more than the light. I think the light looks good on the cheeks there, but I think I'll be sticking with the dark gray as I go through the piece. I find when you're coloring these type of drawings, even though I haven't done something specifically like this, like I've colored mandalas and other stuff, sometimes it's nice to keep your palettes limited and you just use maybe 3-4 different colors in different shades. Sometimes I think that works out really nicely when it comes to coloring patterns, because then you can also use your colors to create a pattern that kind of cohesively goes with the pattern that's already there, if that makes sense. I use this lighter yellow for these almost feather-like pieces coming out of the top of the mask here. And I think I'm going to use a dark gray for these spots. I'm going to do one, step back, look at it. Now you know what, I think I want a little bit more pop than the dark gray for these dots. But that's why you try to learn, you try to get a visual and see what it's going to look like. But I do much like the pop of color better. Like I said, I think the gray is good for almost the kind of background or very subtle areas. So I have been using the metal fill. You might not see that much of a difference from the pillow, but maybe that difference will be more apparent once I start adding all the details, all the light tricks and stuff to it. We'll see how that goes. There's definitely a lot of intricate parts to fill. It's nice to do these type of pieces once in a while though, because I find filling super relaxing. So I'm just doing all the little details here in the same color, and then I'll probably do the rest in that brighter yellow. I'm tapping towards the end, so my shading is towards the base. Okay, so our whole mask is filled. Now I'm just looking at it to see if I like the way the colors are kind of evenly dispersed and whatnot. When I'm seeing it, it's making me not 100% sure about this gray. I think I don't mind it in the surrounding circumference kind of area. But I think I want this to be orange. Just reviewing my colors for balance, right? Like I want to have a nice balance to how everything's laid out in this picture. And since I have this kind of outlined at the bottom, just to follow through and creating that balance, I'm going to put it on top. It might seem like a very simple detail, which it is, but it still will make a difference. Okay. And I think that's enough with the gray. So now that I've gotten my mask filled, I just want to try something here. I really kind of want a little bit more black in here. That's a little bit too black. Sorry, just experimenting here. I just feel like there's not enough of that black because I really want that black. I'm thinking like a black, glittery, kind of beautiful standout mask. So just want to make sure it's in there. That's the first thing that came to mind when I seen this, was like a black and gold type mask. Okay, so let's leave that for now. You can do some mild adjustments as we go on, but I like the way that it looks so far. So let's take this to another level. We're gonna go back down to, went too far, to our yellows. Now I'm going to start adding some light details and glitter to the mask. So let's start with the airbrush tool, and we're on it, so that's good. Just want to make sure I'm on automatic here. I'm just feeling out how I want my highlights to go in this mask. And it's very easy to start with your initial highlight. Highlights are a little bit harder to see on lighter colors, sometimes I find, but if you put them in the right place, they do show up quite nicely. So I'm just adding a little bit of detailed highlights to different parts of the mask, just so it starts adding that shine a little bit. I'm going to grab my laser tool. Make sure my opacity is all the way up. Now, where can I start with this? Okay. I'm just trying this to start. If I like it, then I'll continue on. The whole point of this mask, in my mind, was to make it really stand out and really pop. A little bit hard to see my lines there because it's black. It's always easier to make more accurate lines when you're zoomed in, I find. I gotta figure out where I want to have my laser and where I don't. Again, this whole picture is going to be about balancing out my effects that I want to input on this mask. So it's going to be probably back and forth with the laser tool, using a mixture of the yellow and the orange. I'm using the orange right now. I want that glitz and I want that glam. Maybe I'll just leave that part like that. You can add nice highlights with the laser tool. I would just be careful how you add them. When I mean be careful, just be aware of your opacity. If you bring your opacity down, you get a nice kind of light reflection. If it's too high, sometimes it looks a little bit too reflective, if that makes sense, or too stark of a reflection. Another great tool for highlighting and adding some glam would be the glitter tool, of course. So let's just try out the glitter tool a bit. I'm going to want to make sure that it is on automatic mode though. I'm on very low opacity because the glitter is very strong. It's even hard to control on the opacity that I have it on. So I'm just kind of layering it. I don't mind if I go over the laser, that's fine. Might not end up having as much black in this as I thought, which is fine. You don't want to layer your glitter too much, or I find you lose the effect though. Like if you go over it too many times and it doesn't look the same, I find you just lose that effect. Put on freehand for a second. I use freehand because then I don't get restricted by lines, and then I can add the highlights that I want. Okay, I like that, but put it on automatic mode. We're really making a glitzy mask here. Back to freehand. Want everything to be sparkly, glittery, glitzy, fun. Let's go over to our airbrush for a second, put it back on automatic. The white is going to add a nice shine, or the light. It's almost like a light yellow. If you put that in certain places for your final highlight, it'll really create a nice shine where you're trying to draw attention to light. So around the eyes, if I want the eyes to stand out. And the lighter you go, the more of that shine that you'll get on your piece. I like to layer my highlights so it looks more natural and you can really see that shine. So you'll have like not go white right away, you'll go, you know, a lighter color of what you've applied. Like here I used a lighter orange or yellow. And I think that makes an overall difference on how realistic those highlights look, as opposed to just being a big, you know, white line kind of drawn through. And same with here, I have like that sparkle layered. I like that I use the black in certain areas even though it's not really sticking around, because you can see it kind of coming through underneath, and it's creating this very neat kind of effect. Remember to always play with brush size and opacity. It makes a big difference in the effects that you will achieve in your works. Just a little helpful hint. And if you notice, I really jump back and forth between freehand and automatic. So getting a nice balance of glitter and highlight is what I'm going for here. And if you want to make that highlight glow a little bit more, and it does sometimes seem to add more realism depending on how you apply it, because it has the laser has like an outer glow when you use it, so it almost creates like an aura. Just kind of going around the piece now and creating a little bit of shine. Let's go in and see about adding some more prominent sparkles. Sorry, I rubbed my finger across the screen up there. just want to give it a little bit more oomph. I don't know if I like that though. So, one thing I was thinking about doing is adding like golden kind of beads hanging down, doing my own little addition. Sometimes it's fun adding your own little designs to a page. I just thought it might be fun if there was beads hanging down. And we can do even ones here. Go to my black for a second, airbrush, automatic mode. I just want to try something. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. Oops, I don't want to be on, wait a minute here. Do I want to be on automatic mode? Maybe. I'm just kind of adding some black tinge to the feathers. And I feel like some parts of this mask really should remain black. Just some parts. I'm finding now that it's coming together. I'm thinking that some parts should definitely be just black. I think it adds nice contrast to it, but sometimes I never know until I get to the end of something how I'm going to change it once it starts progressing. And there's just certain parts I think look good black, that's all. Let me see. Oh, that looks better with color. And a nice way to kind of incorporate it a little bit more, make sure you're on automatic mode. I'm on blur. And then you can just kind of go in and blur that black a little bit so it doesn't look so off balance. Feel free to blur your highlights a bit too, because then they look more natural. Especially around the eye. I use blur a lot. It's one of my favorite tools. And you don't have to go crazy with it. A little bit of blur goes a long way. I'm just looking, figuring out if I'm good with it, if I need to add anything more. So easy to go on and on with pieces that have lots of detail, because I always find places that detail can be added, and I'm a detail junkie. I love adding detail to a piece. I just find it makes it look so much more alive. Okay, so let's go to our laser tool. I'm going to go to my recently used colors, and I'm going to try something. I'm not saying I'm keeping it, but I feel like there needs to be some kind of background. I change up the opacity and the brush size of the circle brush to create kind of like a bubbly background. But I play with the opacity and I play with the brush size, and I'm just using a couple of colors. I'm keeping it simple. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'm keeping it yet. Make sure you're pressing down straight with the circle tool, or it will it'll kind of drag and not look right. Now I'm going to go in and get my plasma. You know, I almost think it's too much. Like there's too many circles. Like it's nice just with a few, I think. And I'm just pressing the plasma down, kind of making some sparks. And I just want to maybe go to balloon tool first. I just want to try something. Okay. You kind of get those circles in the background, but they're faded. Go back to our plasma. Just kind of a little bit more spark. Let's go to our blur tool and blur it out a bit. So this stuff looks like it's in the background, behind the mask. So let's blur all that. And then let's go into our plasma again. Use the orange this time. And we'll add a couple close-up sparks. Now I want to grab my airbrush and I just want to create like a little bit of like a vignette. And then let's go back to our blur tool. Let's just blur out the vignette edges. You want to keep a good balance when you're using blur. You don't want to like blur it out too much or too little. Just a nice balance is really, really great. Now, maybe use the technical pen for a quick sec here. Now, I definitely don't care if it looks perfect there at all. It's basically just meant to be a layer. I'm just trying to bring out a couple areas a little bit more. And then that's what the nice thing is about blur is nothing has to be perfect. In fact, a little bit of perfection really works well with the blur tool. I just wanted a little bit more highlight in a couple areas, so I went in with my technical pen to get a good saturation of color, and then I go in with my blur after and blur it out, and you don't see a harsh line, you don't see harsh nothing. It just looks seamless. And that's another reason why I love blur, is because it gives a very seamless look. So you can, if you use it right, you can get like professional quality looking. Not saying that mine is, I'm just saying in general, if like it's a good tool to practice and learn because it has a lot of really good features. I think people might overlook the blur tool sometimes. So yeah, I'm a blur fan. Almost done here, I think. Let's go to I can mess around with backgrounds in the blur tool forever. I really, really can. I'm not going to do that to you today. I'll try and finish it up. It's just really easy to get caught up with it. I'm going to do just a little bit more highlighting around, and you don't have to use the technical pen. I just use the technical pen sometimes with the blur tool because I find you get a good saturation of color quickly. But the airbrush works well too because you get a spread, and then the spread blurs, which looks nice. So I mean, to each their own. You got to experiment with it and figure out what your style is and what works for you. You can also use the blur, which I do very much. I'm not using it in this one, but I've used it in very many other colorings. The blur and blender, they pair very nicely together as well. So I'm just adding a little bit more highlight around this mask. Then I'm gonna go to my laser. Just fix up a couple of these little missed areas here. Yeah, you can pretty much blur anything and it'll look like it's in the background. Like I used the circle tone, you can see those circles in the background, but they're not right in your face, you know what I mean? A couple more glitters. on the mask here. And I think that's going to be about it. Glitter pen one more time. Just thinking if I want to do anything else. Just about done. Have a couple close-up sparks. And I think that's about all I'm going to do on this mask. It was definitely interesting and fun to color. Like I said, I haven't done a mask yet digitally. So it was a lot of fun. I'm just adding a couple more glitter dots here as I'm talking to you. So this is Brianne from Pixite. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope that this tutorial was helpful. We played with a lot of tools today, and we will see you again next time. Take care, everybody. Bye.